Okay, this video will demonstrate the operation of the base station. Right now we have the coupler here hooked up and running, and this is a screenshot, video of the screen of the software. So right now you have the AC and DC lights on and the data light is blinking. So to start with, I'll unplug the base station and show you what happens as it comes up. So as I plug it in, you get a red light typically for 1 second, and then the data light will turn on. Sometimes the data light will be on even when you first plug it in, but the main thing to watch for is if the heat light comes on for 1 second and then turns off. Now the heat light won't turn off if it happens to be cold outside. The antenna, base station antenna, has a heater in it, so that if you're in very cold environments down around freezing or below, then a heat light will come on for a while and to warm up the antenna and keep ice off it, and then it will cycle. The heat light will blink on and off periodically. So right now we're waiting for data to lock. Now before you get, let's see, the base station has to see 4 satellites to lock. And once it locks, then the data light will start blinking, and at that time it will start sending data into the PC, and this status light, which is incoming data stream, will turn from red to green. So if you're getting a solid data light on the base station, no data is being sent out. But now the data light is locked up, data light is blinking, and the status panel shows that the incoming data stream is now active. Okay, and now I zoomed in on the base station software. And the way the software works is that every time you get or once every second, the base station takes an instantaneous phase out of the wall socket it's plugged into, and it stores that instantaneous phase reading along with the time, the GPS time that it took it, into a file on your hard drive on your PC. So we have the incoming data light, meaning we have data, we're collecting data, and now I'll enter a 9-digit sequence that I've acquired from one of the PhaseID field probes. So the first 3 digits of the sequence are Juliet Alpha 5. So I can enter them with the control pad, Juliet Alpha 5. The second reading, in note as I enter them, they show up here in the phonetic translator, so if a lineman were calling him into a dispatcher, the dispatcher could read back. He would say the first reading was Juliet Alpha 5, and that would confirm to the lineman out in the field that the dispatcher had understood his first 3 digits correctly. So the second 3 are 5 Echo Foxtrot. So we have 5 Echo Foxtrot. And the third is Hotel 87. So it's Hotel 87. And now I hit confirm read back, and the software goes back into the hard drive and finds the data which it was taken at the same instant that the data was taken out in the field, compares the 2 readings, and determines what the unknown phase attribute is out in the field. The field instantaneous phase and the base station instantaneous phase are compared and an offset applied depending on what your tagging reference phase is. In tagging reference phase is simply the phase you wish to call a particular conductor in terms of A, B, or C when you first set up the base station. Or if you go from substation to substation, or from, say, transmission voltage to distribution voltage, you may have a number of different configuration files, and they're very simple to set up. For instance, if this was the first reading that was taken on a substation and you knew that this was on phase C, you can go to setup, you go to auto config, you tell it you wish to call this reading phase C, say OK, says it's successful, say OK, and now it shows you that the phase is phase C. In other words, you defined this particular conductor as being phase attribute C. So once you set it up like this, now you can, as you go out within the distribution area of that substation, maybe it was 7,200 volts, and make additional measurements, it will always compare them to the phase you set up here as phase C. If it was on phase A or B out in the field, it automatically knows that and will tell you that it was on phase A or B, simply because those two phases will be 120 degrees either ahead of or behind, either leading or lagging the phase C that you set up on this base station. So it's a very convenient way to keep track of different tagging reference phases, because the base station can be plugged into any wall socket anywhere. It doesn't matter what the phase of the wall socket is, because when you set it up this way, you're really using the base station in reverse. In other words, you don't know what the wall socket is, but you know what the unknown phase or the phase out in the field is when you take your first reading. And so simply by going through this auto config, you now set up the designation of the wall socket to whatever it has to be to give you the correct answer out in the field. So there's a number of other features and setups on the base station software. You should really go through the installation and operation manuals that come with the system to determine all the different features and way to use it. But this has been kind of a quick overview of some of the basic principles of it.